money. We're talking 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 within the school premises. Beyond that, more hostels were erected and they were not made available to the public or for students to be able to afford it. And so you see a crop of students struggling and scrambling for bed space. I'm talking about students who do not even have an alternative. And this fee is not even something that every other person would be able to afford. And in talking about the hostel, the allocation of hostel, they've also complained about how there is the process of which that involves the allocation of hostel students who get bed space. And bed space will usually cost around 50,000 or 55,000 naira, are selling it for as much as 300,000 naira. Sometimes even there is a multiple allocation of bed spaces, and it's just really worrisome. It's worrisome because students go to school and are weighed by the economic condition. They have to cater to their needs, plus the pressure from home, and then they come to school. You would expect that a school that is publicly funded, quote unquote publicly funded, would have some level of organization, some students will have access to certain things, but that does not seem to be the case. It's really worrisome, and I do hope that the school authority will delve into the matter and find better ways to be able to conduct examinations to avoid injuries, to avoid clashes of timetables, and ensure that students are allocated spaces and they go through this educational system without causing much harm to themselves. All right, now away from that, let's turn to our headlines this morning, beginning from the Guardian newspaper. And from the Guardian newspaper, we see the banner headline here reads that National Security Summit, stakeholders reject plan, FLA stalled proposals, high military casualties. And of course, this is a very sad one that is coming off the latest attack, insecurity that has invaded the country, and that would be in the military base in Borno. Now, so far, 20 soldiers are still missing as of the last count, and I have seen some discourse on this matter, how that insurgents and these non-state actors are able to invade a military base. They invaded a military base, killed about 4 soldiers, and up until this moment we're having this conversation, 20 soldiers are still missing. It's very interesting when the description of how they were able to carry out this invasion. They were able to carry out surveillance, of the base before they were able to launch the attack. Now, the other banner headline on the rider on that headline on the Guardian is diaspora groups urges Tinubu to sack service chiefs over rising insecurity. And this is some of the questions and deliberations of many as to, despite continuous conversations, despite meetings and upon meetings, despite the quick action and the ultimatum given to service chiefs, the plague, which is the insurgents and the invasion of bases and communities by non-state actors, has persisted. And now security chiefs are meeting again, and they're meeting in order to be able to find a solution to tackle this. But while this is going on, experts have said that beyond more conversation, what is needed to be done is that the strategies that have been developed, that have the plans that have been they have achieved and come to a point in previous meetings should be implemented. Now I'm going to take that story from the Guardian newspaper, where it captures it as 20 National Security Summit stakeholders reject plan. Now, from here, it says that amid escalating insecurity across the country, experts and stakeholders have urged the Senate to abandon its proposed 2-day National Security Summit, calling instead for decisive action to address the crisis. They also called on President Bola Tinubu to rejig the security team, citing the military's embarrassing helplessness in tackling the growing threat. The experts also argued that the time for more discussions has passed, emphasizing the need to implement resolutions from past summits and conduct a thorough audit of military assets. acquired for national defense. Now, according to what was captured, in 2023 report revealed that only 15% of policies recommendations from legislative-led security conferences since 2011 have been implemented, while the other 75% of resolutions that were gotten from from previous security summit have been abandoned, ignored, or completely kicked to the curb. Now, these are some of the calls that some experts have been making. Do well to join us. We're streaming live on Facebook on our Dami Mogo 93.1 FM. On our Dami Mogo 93.1 FM. And here, still more on the headlines. On The Guardian says House of Reps turns down bill proposing rotational presidency. This is captured on the Guardian newspaper. And similarly, it's also a similar headline on the Tribune says reps to resume debate on rotational presidency bill today. Now, the House of Representatives today is expected to resume the bill, the debate on the general principles of a bill seeking to alter the 1999 Constitution to adopting rotational of the offices of the presidency and the vice president among the 6 geopolitical zones in the country as from 2031. Now, some members of legislative, the private member of legislation, which was sponsored by Deputy Speaker, House of Representative Benjamin Kalu, seeks to foster national unity, cohesion, integration, promote fairness, and ensure equitable representation of all regions in the country. Now, Kalu was proposing of an 8-year tenure for each geopolitical zone to ensure that all regions have a turn in leadership positions. But this particular proposal have generated quite a number of debates on the floor of the House, with some, stating that it's not supposed to be, and that the call for that rotational was unnecessary, and because there's also some type of a device, some type of a zoning going on in political parties, which should be enough to cater to that need of having every geopolitical zone to be duly represented as regards leadership position. Now, that is captured on the Tribune and, of course, on the Guardian. Now, taking more headlines before I turn to my analyst, who will be joining us via the phone line. Still well to join us on Facebook. We're streaming live on Dami Mogo 93.1 FM. On Dami Mogo 93.1 FM. And now taking a cue from turning to the Daily Trust, Boko Haram kills 4 soldiers and renewed onslaught on military bases. This is captured on the Daily Trust. And looking through more headlines. And this one here says alleged bribery. Kano court rejects Ganduje's bid to stop trial. Now, this is as the All Progressives National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, as he filed a motion challenging the Kano High Court, challenging its jurisdiction to hear its 11 count corruption charges. Now, of course, according to Justice Amina Adamu Aliyu, who presided over the matter, he ruled that the preliminary objections raised by Ganduje, who is the former governor of Kano State, and his co-defendant were incompetent and lacked merit. She went on to affirm that a court's jurisdiction to hear the charges, which include allegation of bribery, conspiracy, misappropriation, and diversion of public funds amounting to billions of naira. On the phone lines 0805 588 193, 0805 588 193, 0805 588 192, 0805 588 192. Still on the Daily Trust here, settle FG's 45 billion naira debt to Abiola's family. Lamido tells Tinubu. And this is coming from the former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, who has urged President Bola Tinubu to pay the 45 billion naira alleged owed to the late Chief MKO Abiola by the federal government. Now, according to what Lamido was saying, according to what he said that he made this, this suggestion at a presentation of autobiography of being true to, titled "Breathe True to Myself." Of course, he went on to say that settling the debt would help close the long-standing controversy surrounding the June 12, 1993 presidential election, which Abiola was said to have won back but was denied by the presidency. All right, this is his submission. All right, now that is on the Daily Trust. Now, looking through more headlines here on the Daily Post, the banner headline reads: Lagos Guba Sheyi Tinubu Gbajabiamila Lausa Obasa order stop list as search begins. And this is coming on the. This is from the Daily Post, and this is in regards to several conversations that have dominated as regards the call for the Lagos State governor candidate. All right, looking through the story that is captured on the Daily Post here. Okay, 0805 5888 193, 0805 5888 193, 0805 5888 192. Let us see who this is. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. And welcome to the breakdown.
All right, this is Sergeant from Ogboi.
Yes, please go ahead. Share your thoughts.
So, okay, it's heartbreaking when you hear the number of Nigerian soldiers that are being killed by these bandits. Sometimes it seems as if these soldiers are not from a family. Maybe they don't belong to any family. For crying out loud, these people, they are someone's wife, brother, someone's children. I mean, they are daddy to many children as well. Let these Nigerians stop all this, maybe because of because they allow this insecurity in the north to continue filtering because of the money they make from every annual budget that are being catered for security purpose. And that's why they don't want this issue of insecurity to end soon. And they expose these guys because they're not the one dying, because they are sitting on the comfort of their offices, and all they do is to direct money into their account, and people are being killed like if they are not human beings. I don't know when we are going to get out of this. This is just internal aggression. Even when Nigeria have to go to what is it called, Liberia, Sierra Leone to fight on the issue of war, they went there and they got a good result and they returned home. Now, why would this internal aggression now is suppressing our entire military as if they were nothing? Now, for Gandhi saying that Nigeria is sliding into one party system, there is no problem at all. After China is into it and they are doing great. I like the response that was coming from Kano, because this Gandhi say that if Nigeria should go China way, Gandhi will not be among of the region today, because he knows what they have done and is very open in the public. So he should just allow things to lie the way it is, not to mention China, because he knows what he has committed. Now we have so many problems. Okay, look at the Lagos now. They are jostling for 2027 gubernatorial candidate. They maybe have started it internally. They don't want to bring it open. And the president is in the central, and maybe the son is aiming to start from the state. And that is where Nigeria, where we find ourselves, where people that lack competence, people that lack credibility, people who are not see where we are today just as a result of where we are, No, look at if Nigeria can, get good electoral act. This issue of the sectional presidency, for me, if there is a sectional presidency, for instance, there are some nations that are not been given the opportunity to lead this country quite all right. So believe you me, if that region is given the opportunity to lead, what about if they don't present stable and competent candidates? It turns things around. The Nigerian will be suffering. Like me, I came from Igbo. If I only eventually they give it to Igbo, maybe someone that is not competent, I would suffer more. Remember, I cannot feed, I cannot take care of my family, I cannot take my children to school, I cannot be able to fund their fees. So tell me, what is my benefit of someone that came from my, region to be heading the country? So that's why I say it's not all about rotational play. It's all about, someone who possesses the wherewithal to turn things around. Someone who has a competence. That is what is required in this country. It's not about, because if we go in that trajectory, believe you me, there will be more internal crisis. Because when you get to your region, someone from another part of maybe children and all of that will say, my area, it should be our turn. They want someone from another country. You discover that there will be more crisis than we ever had. So that is why I am not proposing for that. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. 08055 888 192. 08055 888 192. 08055 888 193. 08055 888 193. Now joining us this morning via phone lines, Ambassador Robin Emmanuel. Good morning and welcome to The Breakdown. Yes, good morning. It's good to have you. It's good to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Now, I would like us to dive into our conversation real quick. And what has dominated has got to be the insecurity situation. The security summit that is being organized. On one hand, many people have described the attack on the military base in Borno that has left 20 soldiers missing and 4 dead, very embarrassing. And experts are saying that beyond asking for more, carrying out more summits, that the authorities should implement resolutions that were garnered before in previous summit and not going ahead to have more conversations. I'd like your insight into this perpetual. It seems as though.
Okay, you're breaking. I'm trying to get your question.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I would like your insight into the insecurity situation. It does seem as though we have lost a grip we've lost a hold on this insecurity in the country.
Okay. Oh, that's what you're asking me about, insecurity, yeah?
Yes, that's what I'm asking about, yes.
Okay, I just left a particular platform and we had a conversation about that, and I was saying something about the idea of first forgiving insurgency, that they are now repentant, repentant bandits, repentant Boko Haram. However, I feel like some set of people are coming back to retaliate, or some people already feel the worst that will happen is when we go to insurgency or we start our own insurgency, all what will happen is we later come out to say we are sorry, and they will definitely forgive us, right? But I just want to ask a question. The police force, it was alleged that they were using helicopter to drop food and some other material things for insurgency or bandits in the bush. But according to Muiwa Adejobi, he has come out to debunk it. But the honest truth is, how are they feeding? How are they getting them, supplies of food, of water, of gas, of guns, and other material things? I'm always asking the custom.
Hello? Okay, we seem to have been disconnected. Okay, so Ambassador Robin, we lost you for about 15 seconds. Can you take that back a bit?
Okay, I was talking about, how were they feeding? How were they supplying them food? How were they supplying them material things? Because if you're talking about insecurity now, we have to make use of our own AI, make use of our own, intel and technical support. But remember, His Excellency former President Muhammadu Buhari actually bought like about 2-3 Tacoma or Turaco something jets. They have just packed it and they haven't used it in a while. And we don't know why we are investing so much, but we are not seeing the dividends of whatever thing we have invested. Now, going by how are they supplying them food? I feel like the same format they used in the days of the Biafra War. That format where they were able to block some region or block some places from supplying the Easterners food, and that led to the story of Kwashoko and the likes. Why are they not applying the same format? Why not block every form of feeding or how they are getting their foods, how they are getting water? Block everything. Then let's see where this thing is coming from. But I feel some people are sabotaging, security efforts in this country because some people are milking the country through security. Because every day they continue to pass budget. If you check the appropriation bill of 2025 and go and see the ridiculous, I call it ridiculous amount of money that they budgeted for security. But yet we are not seeing anything. But the honest truth is not even about finding or arresting the people who are the actor playing on the field of insecurity, the kidnappers and all. There are some bones. There are some trees these guys rested on. There are some people that helped them. According to Musa, the defense minister of defense, he was on a particular interview, and he said that whenever they arrest these people, what they get from them, they get foreign currencies from them every time. But the truth is, how did foreign currencies get to the country? So who is asking the Burundi changer question? Who is asking the CBN questions? Because it looks like almost everybody have one or two things to pay in this particular insecurity matter. Now, let me just take you back in those days when military were very, very much committed to serving the country. You hardly see a general. I'm sorry, I'm not encouraging poverty here, but you hardly see like a general that has a mansion, that have building. Now, if you go check, a lot of them now have estates. A lot of them now are realtor. A lot of them now have some kind of investment and some kind of money, billions. And you check the salary compared to the way they are working. And one thing about military is it has to be focused. You cannot be a military officer and be putting other things in mind as business that you are doing. But if you check, it is no longer the way it is. There was a particular chief of army staff that died in a helicopter crash somewhere in Kaduna. That man was about to unleash the list of general, 7 general, former general, major general, and the likes of people like them that took Nigerian funds that was meant for arms procurement to take it outside the country for investment. He died. Somebody like Taurid Lagbaja, we not just say because he's the boss, he wants to sit and give order. He goes with them to the war front. And that is how the history of one Yoruba Kakanfo. He does not just give commands, he go with them to the war. Now I'm asking, how many of the military bosses now goes to them to the war front? Issue happened somewhere in Plateau and Benue, Zamfara and Sokoto. And we are not seeing our governors, our military men going in mass to that place or those places. Now, Senator Sheriff Oborivori defected from PDP to APC. They had a major party rally for his defection to the extent that the Vice President Kashim Shettima was on ground. All 19 state APC governors were on ground. And we are talking about people. So it's like it's intentional. It's like they need to create a problem so that while they are trying to solve the problem or to create solution, they siphon money to their pocket. Check the history of this country. Every year our budget continue to increase. Now we are on 54-point-something trillion budget for 2025. Where are we going to get the money from? The president said we should endure the pain, but he's not cutting our coats according to our size. Because these are places you want to check. So if you want Nigeria to grow, one of those things you need to check is insecurity. But trust me, corruption is eating more than insecurity, because corruption is one of the reasons why there is insecurity. Why am I saying so? You give about something billion for arms procurement, and somebody is siphoning the money. Then how much, what is the worth of the military? Inside inside the same military, the Boko Harams, the bandits, they have intel inside. Why? Because the money insurgency is giving to people that works with them is far more than what the government is giving to these people.
So, Ambassador Robin, if we're to go by, your insights and be saying that there's a sabotage going on and there seems to be a lackluster attitude and approach to tackle insecurity, it would mean that the call for the sack of service chiefs that is being pushed forward right now. So, would you think that the president should consider, sacking service chiefs, since as of the last time there was this level of onslaught?
Sacking service chief is not the. How many times have they sacked service chief? Let's go by sacking service chiefs. It's not about sacking the service chiefs. It's about putting square peg in a square hole. You understand? It's about putting people who are capable of doing the job, not about sacking now. Why am I saying not about sacking? It's not just the service chief alone that are involved. Something is happening in Plateau. The service chief is in Abuja. The same time, something is happening in Benue. The service chief is in Abuja. The service chief is not the omnipresent God or omnipotent. It cannot be everywhere at the same time. It can only be in one place. There are people that works with him. Now, who are we supposed to direct this matter? To direct the matter to the commander in armed force. A commander is the president, is the commander. That means he gives the last order. When last did you hear that a president of this country stood up to say, see, military, I'm giving you 7 days ultimatum. Clear any insurgency in Nigerian forest. 7 days. After 7 days, if this problem persists, consider yourself sacked. Are they threatening them with sack? So if everybody continued, because the president himself, okay, people were dying in Plateau, the president went to France. The vice president went to Senegal. They left the country naked. To which person's hand? To Senator Bassirou Fabio, that is battling with his own sexual harassment allegation, another allegation levied against him. Is that who you are leaving the country to? Or you leaving the country to a person like Femi Gbajabiamila, who was just, a House of Representative member for about 20 years and refuses to even let another person get it? I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying, these people have different kind of focus. But if you are prepared to be the president of this country, like they always get to tell us, the president has been prepared. Insurgency started heavily during the days of President Goodluck Jonathan, former president rather, and you, President Tinubu, you were seeing it that as it was playing. In the days of Buhari, as much as you guys are in the same party, Buhari ruled from 2015 to 2023. It was in your presence. You witnessed the administration. You saw what insurgency did. Even the president was getting prepared to be president of this country. I do not see any reason why the insurgency will still continue like this under Tinubu. That means there is something somewhere. We have to understand that something. See, you have custom, you have immigration officer, you have police officer, you have EFCC, you have NDLEA. You mention them. They are just wasting taxpayers' money. If you take your child to a school and then you notice that after 2 years your child is not even improving, what will you do? You change your child away from the school to another school. But when there is corruption and manipulation, emotional blackmail, this is what we get. What one came out a few days ago to say Nigeria is one of the fast-growing economy in the world, we are not feeling it. And one of the ways by which we are not feeling it is that insecurity problem, because farmers can no longer go to farm. So how did they want to farm? When will there not be food? What's the food crisis? And the little ones that can summon their courage to go to the farm without that telling you, think it's easy. You think it's easy to go to the farm? All
right. Now, Ambassador Robin, still on insecurity, there is you mentioned that many times when these people are caught, you find foreign currencies, and this sometimes some experts have said that this is linking and point to the fact that of external influences in how these insecurity are being conducted in Nigeria. Now, if we're to look at it in that regard, and with the latest onslaught being the military base, this time around, it is not just the insurgents being attacking the soldiers in their own fort, in their own territory, but is they not coming into the military base? Does this not speak poorly of our defense structure, especially when it regards to the international community? And what are the consequences we may likely see? I mean, does this not mean that it will not be a free for all? It's now a pointer that the military bases are not exactly as secure as it is. It's a free for all. Go ahead and do whatever it is that you want.
Okay, Mark. I want to believe something that the military is still as secure as it used to. Please sort them out. But now, in the last one that happened, was it yesterday? The insurgency Boko Haram attacked a military base. They attacked the men on duty. Some of those men ran. Now, see what happened? They took their vehicle. Insurgency took their vehicles and packed their weapons and they left. Now, how can ordinary citizens in Nigeria have something called trackers in their vehicles? How can they now steal a military vehicle? See, anything that has to do with military and health, anything that has to do with security and health, you prioritize them, even if it's safety pin. Because how can imagine officers that help people to track their phones when it lost, now is now telling us that his phone is lost and he does not know how to track it. They stole military vehicles and there is no tracker. In short, the tracker that should be a military vehicle should have a bomb attached to it, an explosive device. That if they can stop it and blow off that vehicle at the same time, because they can actually use it against the enemy. But they came out to come and tell us this. They moved their vehicles, they moved some of their weapons. Why? Because we lack knowledge. And why are we lacking knowledge? It's because we have greed. I am telling you that attack on that military base day before yesterday or sort of, there was an intel of insurgency among the military. And why is this happening? Because the government has refused to prioritize the welfare of our fighters. How much are they even giving them as salaries? Then you see the guys, the generals, the major, the this and that, bottling, working with escorts like their governors or they chop life. Then you leave these young boys that are joining, that they sign death warrant, that they can die at any time, which they are equally dying. Now you see governors encouraging youth to go and join the military. And yet, the youth are coming out to say, I don't apply like 50 times, they don't choose me. They say I know no person. They say I know no person. You see, favoritism and nepotism will make you put a carpenter in the place where a mechanic should be. And then you now be expecting a mechanical result. It's not possible, because the carpenter who is there, you are putting people who are scared to die in the military, but people who are fearless and they are ready to serve this country because they are tired. See, if there is no security in Nigeria and the people are meant to fight for each other, we will survive more than what the military is doing. Because one thing about the military now is they restrict us. In Nigeria, you cannot even wear camo. Military, wearing a military kind of shirt on their color, they beat you, embarrass you anyhow. Oh yeah, the insurgency that are killing now, they are not just wearing camo, they wear the same uniform you are wearing. How many have you killed? Sure, you understand? Go to the field, you have the DSS. Have you seen DSS when they are mobilizing themselves to go for maybe election protection? If you see the kind of guns they carry, it looks like that of Terminator. If you see the gun, you'll be scared. They cover their face. They are only good in showing off. Now go and show that showing off. Go and, in the world, Nigerian military are like maybe 31. In Africa, they are between 1 and 2. And yet you are facing internal problems. There is no country Nigerian military has gone to for peacemaking that they did not make the peace. So for the peace not to exist and not to happen in our country, then check our leaders. Because we don't even have leaders in this country, we have rulers. If Dele Alake, the minister of solid material, could come outside to tell Nigerians that they are strong men in illegal mining, doing illegal mining. Strong men. They even threaten Dele Alake's life. Now, who are the people doing illegal mining? Now, some people are taking our resources out of the country. Do you think ordinary person can do that? Okay, Mark, between me and you, who knows their connection if you do that kind of business? You have the connect to settle this, to settle this, to settle this. And who are the people they are using for the illegal miners? The insurgency. When they figure that there is a rich land in one particular village, they go to that village and dislodge everybody. By the time they kill, look at, okay, in a particular place where military are based now, Boko Haram is now taking over that place to the extent that they are chasing the military of killing them. By the time the military that want to come and defend you, that are supposed to defend you, run away, are you not going to follow them? You will follow them. So who stays on that land? Insurgency.
All right.
Let's
take a pause and turn to the phone lines. 0805 588 192. 0805 588 192. 0805 588 193. 0805 588 193 is the number to dial to join in the conversation. On Facebook on Dami Mogo 93.1 FM. On Dami Mogo 93.1 FM. All right, Mr. Robin. Now let's take a look at the proposal that, of course, more deliberations will continue today at the floor of the House, and that will be the proposal for the rotational presidency. On one hand, the purpose for which this is even being presented in the first place is to, shun any talk about marginalization, any talk about mistreatment, and to ensure that the six geopolitical zone have a swipe at the presidency and, of course, leadership. On the other hand, there's also the argument that, as opposed to paying loyalty to tribe and region, we should be more concerned about the efficiency or the competence of the person who is vying for political office. Your thoughts on this? Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Did you get my question?
Yeah, it was on the efficiency, talking about
presidential. Yes.
That through the six regional, what's it called? Is it request we call it now?
Yeah, proposal. Yes.
I know we are supposed to focus on what's it called? The capacity of anybody that wants to. We should be more focused on who can do it best or who can do it well. But should I tell you something? There is no region where they don't have somebody that can do it well. There is no region in Nigeria. We have very intelligent set of people. There is no, if you say only Lagosians should continue to be president of this country, there are people in that your area here that can actually contest for president and do well. I know experiences matter, but see, it will actually bring peace to this country if they do it. I think I've been on a program and I raised something like this, that we can actually run a one-time presidency. The governors can run 2 terms, the governors can run whatever time they want to run. But when you talk about Nigeria as a whole, and as a matter of fact, see, even if they do it, there will still be problem. Because if you say, okay, now, the Southwest is doing it at the moment, let's say the Yorubas are doing it at the moment, and the president finished after 6 years. Now, take it to the north. Where is it going in the north? Let it go to North Central. If you get to North Central now, you have states like Kwara, you have states like, Kogi, you have Abuja too in that place, and I think Niger or thereabouts, that are moved in North Central. They will still have problem too. Which states are they coming? They can start to tell you it's only Kwara that has been doing it for how many times. Let Kogi do it too. There will still be that problem, but something says it will solve. So the Igbos have been saying, there's marginalization. Indeed, they don't want Igbo man to be president. If you want Igbo man to be president, this is one way to solve the problem. We know that their zoning power from the northwest or north central now is coming back to the southern side and is going to the southeast. So whoever political party, we know that you are bringing an Igbo man as candidate. And it will really, really, see, in the nearest future, our own generation will actually do something like this. Our own generation will do it because we eventually understand what's the meaning of life than our fathers that are there. Most of our father years are not leaders; they are dictators. They are rulers.
Can you truly bank on that, seeing that the mentality and the ideas and philosophies are being passed down from one generation to the
Yes,
other?
I will tell you for two reasons. We have digital brain. They have analog brain, and that is why we were excited Buhari was coming, because when he ruled in 1983, when he ruled in 1983, I was not born, but I did government in school, and I understood the fact that it was Tunde Ediagbon that was fronting. Even when they will take over from him, I think Tunde Ediagbon was not around. Maybe if he was around, Babangida wouldn't have successfully taken over from them. And he's still bringing the same idea 30 years after, to want to bring to a new generational, space, which is not even ideal. And that's why she will continue to pressure all of them. The president, our current president, is a grassroots person. At the same time, he schooled abroad. According to him, he went to Chicago State University. According to him, he worked with top auditing firms outside this country and within the country. So what is really stopping them from making Nigeria a place of tourism, a place where people want to come? Once upon a time, 1 naira equal to $1. As a matter of fact, naira was not stronger than dollar. Once upon a time, we have the television station before France. Once upon a time, the king and queens outside this country, in European countries, come to university teaching hospital in Ibadan for treatment. Now, how have we lost all those glories? Because of greed, selfish interest. And so all of those things, to me, they are analog brain. They do it digital, they do it analog wise. But when you come to a digital space, then you know that there is no way, because that is what is helping the developed country. In the UK, it's easy for Prime Minister to resign, because what the Prime Minister is seeing in his personal business is more than what is getting as salary in the public office. So if you stress him too much, he just resign and leave there. It doesn't work like that in Nigeria. Why Fubara never resigned? Yes, he continued to tell us, my spirit has left the place, I'm not interested, I don't feel like... But you are going to hold speech talk in Wikte's house. So these guys will just divide us. So that's what I'm saying, our own generation. If you notice, Yoruba and Igbo will fight on Instagram. They will marry themselves every weekend. They marry offline, they fight online. It will get to a stage where we settle. We will now become one. Divide and rule won't be able to work in our country again, because we will now unite. Then it will be easy for us, to agree on a term. So one person is not coming to say, no, this thing is not that. Then you digitalize everything. The financial attraction in all this space are too crazy. You have 360 House of Representatives and 109 Senators, and you are buying 160 million naira vehicle for each of them, and you are saying we should endure pain. Is that what the military too will be saying? They will have all evil. They will betray you, because they see what they are doing to their bosses. They see how they are making money, and you continue to push them to war front. How many times have you heard that insurgency attack military and some generals died? How many times?
All right. Okay. 08055 888 192. 08055 888 192. 08055 888 193. 08055 888 193. And now, before our time is fast spent, but before we go, there is this notion being paraded by former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, who's saying that Nigeria federal government should pay off the 45 billion naira debt to the Abiola's family in order to bridge the gap and create some type of peace. Is this a thought that you also share?
Okay, Mark, if they paid the money, what will it do to Nigeria? If they don't pay the money, what will it do to Nigeria? Why is it that it's Lamido that is coming? What happened to Abiola's first son, Kola? What happened to the wives that are still alive? What happened to the children? Why are they not dragging the president? That's the former governor of Jigawa. He's in the north. Why are the governors in the west not telling that to the president? Why is Sanwo-Olu not involved? I mean, I don't know. Sometimes we like to leave what is our priority to go and bring on. I read the story and I'm really not interested in it, because I mean, he was saying one of the reasons why there was the annulment happened was because federal government was owing Abiola, and they feel like if they handed the country over to his hand, he's going to like pay himself automatically, or I don't understand. The story, we are not fools in Nigeria. Come on. If the family feels like the federal government is owing them, they know the right ways to go. Last, they go to court. At least they've agreed that Abiola won the election. So fine, the family can go. Why is it somebody from the north that is coming to fight for Abiola's family? I mean, it's just something. So let that person, that energy that he's using to fight for Abiola, let him use it to fight for another thing that will help the people in general in the country.
All right, still in Lagos, let's take a look at the local government poll that is scheduled to hold in July 12. Now, so far, the APC, there's been some allegations that some of the candidates that were put forward in the chairmanship and councillors were imposed upon. But although those allegations have been refuted by the APC. But I'd like to take into this that you see something as little and as simple and as basic as local and grassroots as the local government polls, and yet we're still hearing talks about imposition and all. But before I take your thoughts, let's see who this is. Hello, good morning. What's your name?
Hello.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Good afternoon. My name is Ismail. I'm calling from Shomoli.
All right, your thoughts. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to make a little comment on the case against.
All right, go on.
So, we need to understand that our military, we have the best military in the world. But the problem is that they are not being taken care of. Not just the military alone, even the police. Our police are not protected well. Why? Because they are not being treated well. It's only their organs at the top. I was in the police station last time. You can't believe it. The office of a DPO has just ordinary man see a DPO using this thing to find himself. Then by the time I now went to where those, I don't even know they called them. The other officers were sitting down. You see the way they sit others, look back. Then how do you now take case to such a person and you now expect a good result? Just like you you go to an office, you see the way they look, they are not even looking happy, and you don't expect something good from such people. That's why you say our police go to state, our military. So everything still goes back to the government. Those people need to be taking good care of at least. If I have not visited close to 2 or 3 police, police station, I have done more than 4 or 5, and the case is always the same. They are going on the road. Sometimes I do imagine when I see our police officers standing. You see the way he stands, look very hungry, they look, you will see hunger in his face. Even the gun is even holding, is pulling him. So I don't need to do something. I don't know. Even when our big men go to their house, they see what they do their security. They will be living in a mansion. They are talking, they are security who take care of their life. They will now build a very small house for him and his family to stay there. When such a person see money, what do you do? You can't be the master fight with the money and get money then and get something is happening in our nation. I don't know. At every level, we need to take security very serious. That's the part from our government. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. All right, Ambassador Emmanuel, before I let you go, your thoughts on the Lagos LG poll?
Well, people, there are a lot of, because of time, it's a very big explanation though. But if you notice that every state, whoever is the governor of the state, have the tendency to win local government elections. His party have the tendency to win local government elections. And that is why we have to really put our focus on the candidates that the APCs are bringing out. Because trust me, we have 80% should I say assurance, or is 80% or 85% certain that they will like to win those elections. Now you have 20 local government areas and 37 local council development area. Now people need to understand that the closest government to the people is the local government. You don't have to knock. As a matter of fact, you can always see your local government chairman every day. But the way they have made it look now, local government chairmen to now see themselves like one state governor or like one, yes, they are big men and women, but at the same time, they are civil servants that need to pay all attention to every detail, that they bring to their front. But now, it's a normal thing when party will say they want to impose, they have somebody, they are in queue. Well, maybe people need to start joining political parties if they feel like they want to take. I have a lot of things to say, but trust me, okay, man, there is no time to talk about
Yes,
them.
all right.
But
That's fine. Thank you very
the only
much.
thing I just preach to people is if you don't know that person in your local government, if you don't know that person, don't vote for him.
All right. Thank you very much, Ambassador Robin Emmanuel, for your take this morning. All right, and that's the bit we can take this morning. We're just speaking to Ambassador Robin Emmanuel, who is a public affairs commentator and analyst. And of course, do well to join me again tomorrow, same time at 10 a.m. for another deep dive into the headlines as they appear across the dailies. I am Ogboi Mark. Good morning.